Hello, and welcome back. This is Saturday Night Talkaway. You having a good time?
I'm having a good time.
It's all right, isn't it? We could
It's a good night.
talk about AI-generated Donald Trump.
Hey.
AI.
It's got to be good.
Properly Mancunian. Properly
I'm ready,
Mancunian.
right? I'm going to do some magic now. Ready? Ah, nearly. I just transitioned our background to nighttime, which we're not supposed to talk about, but there you go.
Well, how are people going to have not noticed that?
Anyone listening just went, why did she just click her fingers? We made the
She
background
just loves
into
it.
nighttime.
Just loves it.
We've got a brilliant guest on who we have a lot of time on this show, and we've a lot of time for her as well. This is Heather Herbert. Can you hear us?
Yay!
Hello, Heather.
Yay.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you two?
Good, thank you. Looking
Living
very
the dream.
peaceful
Living the dream, Heather.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the time when you can make me aye and I can have a Saturday night off.
Oh, she's good. Now we've got a few of trans stories this Saturday night, but we'll start with the transgender cricketer who's to play for Canada. Now I think this is very interesting. Am I allowed to go into this kind of detail, Chuck, for the time of evening? Yeah. Okay, so apparently the concentration of testosterone in her serum has to be less than 5 nanomilliliters per litre continuously for a period of at least 12 months, and that she is ready, willing and able to continue to keep it below that level for as long as she continues to compete. I just still get very uncomfortable about biological men competing in women's
Just to be
sports.
clear, is that the only thing this person has to do?
I think, it appears to be. So this is Danielle McGahey. McGahey, have we said that right? Who's 29 years old and says that she's fulfilled all of the eligible criteria that the International Cricket Council has made for male to female transgender players.
She looks like
before the event
bagpuss.
in Los Angeles. So there's obviously all the kind of things. I mean, she is, she's socially transitioned to a woman in 2020. Mm-hmm. Doesn't seem that long ago, but
I mean,
started medically transitioning in 2021.
But this just looks like a big fella, doesn't it, really?
Well, that's a bit cruel, but...
That's not cruel, it's accurate.
We're looking at a picture now of Danielle. What's your thinking on this, Heather?
Well, as you say, she's met all the criteria necessary to play in the women's team, so why shouldn't she play in the women's team?
Because
it says on average that it's proven that even 14-year-old boys are faster and stronger than world-class female athletes.
Yeah, if you look at the Lionesses...
That's why I have a problem with it.
If you look at
it's all about the sport for me.
If you look at the Lionesses, people made jokes about the fact that a group of teenage boys beat them, but in reality, because of the physical strength of teenage boys, that's not surprising at all. The critical thing with the Lionesses, when women play against women, actually the level of skill will come out because the additional body mass, if you like, isn't a factor.
And isn't that the secret to the whole debate? Because we have this all the time. First of all, there should be respect across the board, and you're absolutely right. Don't mock people because of how they look. I think the reality is that, and I understand people have tremendous struggles with having to do this, but there's a reason that there's a man the sport and a female sport.
I don't think it's as if...
And it's that sort of side,
everybody makes it political.
And it should be political.
And it isn't political. It is just not fair.
Exactly, and it's based on, it's rather like having a bantamweight and a heavyweight.
Yeah,
you don't put the two together.
They don't do it. They're not allowed to.
Work on that basis. So Heather, I mean, maybe I could ask Heather.
But I heard a terrible thing, and I'm going to put this to Heather, about Leah Thomas, who once again has socially transitioned, which means she's just a man, effectively. Just
so no medical transition.
No medical changes or whatever. But apparently, because women have big hips and they want to wear very skin-tight swimming costumes in competitive races, they really have to sort of shimmy into these blooming things. And apparently those people at Penn State University who said, look, we're not very happy with a 6'3" bloke being in the women's changing room while we do it, because it can take 10, 15 minutes to put these on. Apparently they were told that they'd either be expelled or have to go to transphobia training.
Yeah, and again, we have to be right on. I mean, it'd be fascinating to hear what Heather has to say about that, because I think the whole background to male and female sport was precisely because of that. You've got to be fair so you compete.
Otherwise, it would just be sport. It wouldn't be male and female.
And I don't mind about darts because it does not depend on that sort of stuff. But and maybe cricket, maybe one of those sort of things. But Heather, what is the answer then to that? That's the reason that people made the distinction in the first place, was because of physical strength, and that's why you had two different things. What are your views?
Well, we'll talk about the swimmer first, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about the placing in question, but all the changing rooms I've ever been in have had single cubicles. So when people get changed, they get changed in a cubicle.
Yeah. Well, for swimming...
Well, I mean, let's just be clear. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I suspect...
It'll be because the trainers and everything...
I suspect they didn't make the complaint on the basis of it being fake, did they, really? You know, they're much more likely to be telling the truth, and they apparently were embarrassed doing this. But the critical point was... This is biologically a man who says he's a woman, and the solution to the problem is to give training to the girls who are embarrassed getting naked in front of them.
And you're right. And the point is that it's not about the cubicle and respect on that sort of side. It's about the fundamental reason that the sports were distinguished in the first place.
That's how I feel about it.
And I think that's right. So, Heather, just to pick up on that point, the reason that male and female were separated in those ways was because of physical strength originally. What's your answer to that?
So when you transition, you lose the physical strength. Your muscle mass decreases as a result of losing testosterone.
Yeah, but you've been through puberty, haven't you? So
yeah,
you've already had the advantages,
trying to think of some extreme examples.
But what I don't understand, if that's true, if all this testosterone, if removing the testosterone and putting estrogen in makes you physically weaker, why is it that time and time again, middle-ranking sports people who transition from being a man to a woman suddenly are breaking world records? Yeah. You would have thought if the testosterone or estrogen was working, what would happen is they would become middle-ranking sports stars in their new gender.
Why then are not every middle-ranking sports person transitioning?
Well, because some people don't want to transition. Well,
so you agree it's a natural thing then?
Sorry, I think we made a jump there. No.
Sorry?
No, I'm sorry. I don't believe that Leah Thomas is cheating. I just believe that she is biologically a man.
I don't think that. I don't think it's about cheating.
I believe these are heartfelt beliefs and heartfelt desires to change gender. The big problem is
it's not fair.
That it's not fair.
Let me help Heather out on this one, because I think it's really, really helpful. First of all, I think we need to come with respect for all these sort of things. So I totally get that. I do not know whether you're right about the physical strength side of it. I tend to suspect when I see somebody who has transitioned and beating the world record for weightlifting by a big degree, that there may be an issue about that sort of side on strength. What maybe this could be the solution then, is no longer basing it on sex or gender or whatever. Should we be basing these sporting things on strength?
Yeah, I think basing it, changing the criteria to have it on categorised by individuals' ability is a good idea.
Why not have a separate category for trans people?
Because there's not that many of us.
But there's not that many people.
I would be a world champion, and I am in no way, shape or form a world champion.
But in certain categories in the Paralympics, there aren't many people competing.
Yeah. Can I just, following on from that, great point, Andre, following on from that then, Heather, if you accept that it's based on strength, to the extent that you get a weightlifter who is clearly much stronger than anybody ever, which is why they both broke the world record by a big margin, that clearly then, following your argument, must be unfair. Is that right?
I think things should be classified in degrees. Yeah, there's actually not enough evidence yet to say if testosterone loses your strength to compare it, to make it comparable with female sports. And I think the actual solution is to have research into that and find out if it's true or not.
That female weightlifter that looked like Meatloaf, I mean, she was absolutely enormous. I mean, no woman is that size.
And I think you'll agree there, Heather, because I'm trying to help you out on this one. You would agree that to the extent that that person was clearly much stronger, that's why they beat the world record by such a big thing. Using your argument, that wasn't fair, was it?
Well, as I say, I think these to be classified by ability.
Yeah, so that wasn't fair.
It's a shame because we've got a couple more subjects we'd really like to talk to you about, Heather. But do you know what? I'm sure we will see you again very soon if we can steal another Saturday night from you, if that's okay.
She's up for it.
Fantastic, we love it. Good. Nice to see you, Heather. Thank you. Take care.
Great. Okie dokie. Right, so safaris in cemeteries. We've got a new TikTok sensation of people going around. Well, not people, one person going around cemeteries and whatever. Look, joined by John Joe Namara, who is a cemetery
John O'Namara, who is a cemetery safariist.
Yes, you've got
is that right?
Well, John O'Namara, yeah,
okay.
And I do run a TikTok series called Cemetery Safari.
Oh, you do?
I do,
it's
Thank
fantastic, by the
you so
way.
much,
and you know whose street it is right up?
Whose?
His street.
Oh yeah,
so thanks for having me on.
I used to be an altar boy at funerals, so I've been to large numbers of funerals, and also.